Welcome to the Religiously Offensive Podcast.
We can start by.
Why you
we can start.
always lying?
Do you have a problem with this statement? Fruit is dessert.
I guess it depends on the fruit.
All
I
right.
guess in general, no.
Say someone gives you apple slices and said, "Hey, here's your dessert."
Yeah, tell them to fuck it.
Would you be pissed? Would you be mad?
Absolutely.
All right, Luke.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't.
Fruit by itself.
If I went to a restaurant
if
and the
it was-
dessert menu was apples, strawberries,
What if it was
Berries and cream though.
strawberries,
Fire.
kiwis, and bananas salad kind of thing?
No.
no, that's
No?
a fruit salad. That should be an appetizer, not a dessert.
Yeah,
All right.
that's just fruit.
What
That's a side.
Have you guys ever had? Okay, so had a
what
good
counts
friend
as
growing
dessert
up.
then?
You put ice
I don't
cream on
know.
it.
But his
Sugar
mom
added?
would bring, or his mom would send him to school every day with a Ziploc full of strawberries chopped in half, and then she would like toss them in just sugar.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, that's
They're
next
fire.
level.
I would trade away like anything for like half a strawberry.
Oh, yeah.
Just
So that's what
everybody
you
can have
do
anything.
for like strawberry shortcakes. You
Toss them in a
sugar.
little sugar.
I mean, it was
That's good.
let
I
them
mean,
sit.
That's seared into my memory. It was like was next level. It's like
Yeah.
my mother clearly doesn't love me enough. Like
But
why
we used to
Are we
don't I get
recording?
it?
Just has something in his teeth.
Sure are.
We can't let the camera see.
That's what true friends do.
Good looks.
Yeah,
That's what true friends do.
bad friends ignore it.
That's right.
Dang.
They leave
I
their
mean,
friends
it's not
hanging.
like the camera would see it though.
Well, now the
I
camera
know, but
knows.
I would have stared at it the whole time.
Okay.
She's a good
I
friend.
didn't know
Anyone
you.
have-
I didn't know you watched the podcast.
No, just like right now.
I see.
Does anyone?
And then I wouldn't I wouldn't actually hear what you guys are saying because all of my head, I'll just
You'll
be
just be
thinking,
like,
Justin has something in his
floss
teeth.
Still there. Huh?
That's
floss.
Do we have floss
No,
here?
I think I'm
Nathan usually
impacting
has
it.
like those picks, like those floss
Oh.
picks.
Well, I think you pushed
it
it in far enough to where you can't see it.
Yeah, you can't really see it.
Okay,
You
That's cool.
you tucked it in.
Now it just looks like a little space between your teeth.
That's fine. That's kind of in, right?
True friend.
That's awful. I can't.
Michael
stand
Strahan,
Not that big of a
Rachel
space.
from The Bachelorette.
It's a large
I don't know anyone
large
else.
space.
Tooth gap,
Those are very, yeah.
it. Tooth gaps. Man.
gaps.
They-
I rather
they have
see
gaps.
crooked teeth than tooth
But
gaps.
you could tell,
I can't
like,
handle the gaps.
But they own it at
Crooked
this point.
smile.
It's like
Yeah.
you clearly could
That was that
easily. It's
song.
almost like part of the brand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's like
So it
you
makes
could
you, like,
afford
unique.
You could afford some Invisalign, like
I got a
right,
crooked
like.
smile. Look at how far I got without it. Come on, God, they ain't ready for it.
Well, some people have such a big gap that it's like
Talking about.
if they changed
Cole.
it, they would look like completely different.
My sister had a gap growing up and it just, I guess, gradually went away.
Sometimes that happens too.
Hot take. Sometimes I kind of feel the same. Well,
Hot take revoked.
I don't know.
Sometimes you
Never
feel
mind.
what?
It's all dependent.
You can't just
I
hot
was
take.
saying,
And
like,
then
I'm not a big
say it.
bangs guy,
I love bangs,
but at the same time, like, didn't Olivia Wilde play like Cora in Tron? Does she have bangs?
I'm not a big bangs guy, but did Olivia Wilde
I
have
don't
bangs at one point? So maybe I am.
I just
definitely
I've
had
seen
at
it
one point.
once or twice, and I was like,
Maybe you're
I
just an
like- I
Olivia
like-
Wilde fan.
I like the bangs.
that's definitely.
I
true.
really do like bangs a lot, and I mean J Lo, you know, her bang looks were good.
Yeah, J Lo pretty much could pull off anything.
But isn't
Do you
just
think
any
she's getting
attractive
surgery,
woman
though?
with bangs?
I mean,
No.
she's definitely gotten some work done. Not like, I mean, it's not so much that it's obvious.
because she's like
no, it's
50
it's
plus,
real
right?
subtle. She's done it well. Yeah,
Well, they say you're just supposed to get a little bit at a time. Some people just go all out.
She looks like she's 30.
I know. She's just turned like what, 50 or something like
Yeah,
that?
she's over 50. Crazy. And back with Ben Affleck.
They're married.
Dude was playing the long game.
Yeah, they got married.
Like all of
Haven't
that,
they
like
been married?
all
No,
of
no,
that,
no.
like
She was with,
crackhead
Aaron
phase where
Rodriguez
he
for a while.
Oh.
They didn't get married.
Derek
but weren't-
Jeter.
Weren't they? Not Derek Jeter.
Oh
Aaron
wait,
Rodriguez.
A-Rod. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
I was
You,
like,
uh,
Jeter.
Wait, Jeter was
Jeter.
with Cameron Diaz.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
upset if I got that wrong.
okay. So
Sorry, continue. I'm gonna double
yeah,
check
yeah.
myself.
The other another random thought. This is just totally off the wall, related to food still. Do you spread like mayonnaise and jelly and like all that stuff with a knife or a spoon? My wife uses a spoon.
I've done both,
Christina.
but
I know.
you use a knife.
And she
Yeah,
gets
you
mad at
use a
me for
knife.
not using a spoon. Like,
Why would you
Clearly,
use a
everyone
spoon?
should know this. I don't know why. She's like, it spreads better. I'm like, no, because then you got that little bit inside the crevice of the spoon. You can't get off of the thing. I can't handle it. That's just the way she works.
I understand
You
that
need
it's
a
probably
butter
about
knife,
easier
dude.
You can
scooping
get
it out
more
of the
out
jar.
of the
Right,
thing,
right.
yeah.
I get that.
But
Have you
it's
ever
like
used
spreading it?
Have you ever
It's
used
nothing
one of,
like a knife?
the spreading knives though that are different from
Yeah.
a normal knife?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
There's a little
It's got a little
platter.
bent in it.
Mhm.
Bend.
Here's a question. I saw this earlier, so I know the answers. So I want to know what you three think.
Okay.
How many births happen per minute?
In the world
In
or
the
country
world.
In the world, it has to probably be
or 7.4 million.
3,000.
7.4 per
minute?
Oh, I thought you said day. Okay.
gonna
Every
do-
minute.
I'd say like
400.
3,000.
Every minute. Every minute.
What's your
every
guess?
minute.
400.
Every minute.
3,000.
We're talking a minute here.
Every minute. Let's go 100,412.
That's so many.
100,000.
What?
She said 100,000?
She said 100,000. Justin said
I
400.
said 3,000. We're all in kind of a different realm
It's
here.
safe.
In the whole world.
The correct answer is 267.
That's
Oh.
it.
I knew it.
It's not very many.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot more.
I was
Here we
thinking
go.
maybe per second.
Is this Price is Right? Do I technically win
That's
that, or
it?
do I lose because I was over?
I would think
How
that
does it
that-
work?
Per
Happens
minute. The
just in
current world
America.
population is growing by 215,000 people every day.
You just got to, there's a lot of minutes. And you also got to think about like, that means that many people roughly have to be dying.
There's a
every
lot
minute.
of
That
minutes.
was my next
Crazy.
question.
Think about that, Justin. That was a really generic state. There's a lot of minutes. There's also a lot of hours, depending on how
Well,
There's a
there's
lot of
60
time.
more minutes than hours.
How
But,
many?
there's
how many,
a lot more seconds.
Agreed. But the question wasn't how many per second.
I'm just saying a lot of minutes. You can say that about anything. There's a lot of days. There's a lot of years.
We have the whole,
Yeah, I get what you're saying though. There's a lot of minutes
What
that
a
need to be.
dick.
There's just
thought
a lot of
when
minutes in a
thinking
day.
of- Yeah.
I am.
yeah, it's 60,
I'm just saying you just can't throw that into the void because
24.
it's so relative.
Was
But
that
he's
it? Just
saying
the
that
one
in
question?
reference to the question. The other one.
Gabby, where the hell's the next question?
The other one was how many
Next.
deaths are there
per,
per
minute?
minute in the world?
I would probably
Probably
think something similar.
Well, there's probably less
Because it's,
because
we're growing.
in population.
Yeah,
So,
so it's got to be
I think
slightly
there's
less.
more.
150.
I'll go 220.
I'm going to go 369.
369.
106.
That makes sense. I think it makes sense.
Wow.
Well,
It
don't they
depends
say
on what
we have
part
an
of
the- That's wild, though.
underpopulation
Depends on
problem?
what's our
More than-
the part of the country though, right?
the world.
or the world. I mean, like some countries, people be dying like
People be dying,
big
bro.
time.
On average, there are 56 million deaths in a year. Let's get morbid.
Yeah, right?
For 8 billion people, that doesn't
It doesn't seem like a
feel
lot.
outrageous.
No, doesn't seem like a lot at all.
Yeah, kill more off.
Just every minute.
Population control.
All right, that was not Gabby.
Just bring the Squid Games to America. Let's do it.
So
That's a fun exercise.
yeah, that's fun.
That was
So
fun.
the other thing I wanted to say, or I wanted to go over was Luke. You had this question last week that I said we were going to bring up on the
Oh
pod.
yeah. This
So
is this.
state
this
the
is
question.
interesting. Gabby's the only one who hasn't heard it. If you
and we're
could-
going to sound like the worst
This was
people.
Kyle's question. So if you could eliminate any crime from ever happening again, but in order for that to happen, you have to commit the crime first,
and you get away with it.
and you get away with it. What are you doing?
probably murder.
You murder someone?
Yeah, someone
I
that
think
deserves it,
that's what I
right?
said. That's what I said.
All I have
you
to
go.
do is like murder like a serial rapist or something, and then nobody else gets murdered anymore.
Yeah.
Down with that. I'll do it for free right now. I'm just kidding.
So it's like you have to
Sign the
you
contract.
murder the guy that answers rape to that question, and then
Yeah, right.
and then
I get a call
murder
from the
him.
police after this podcast.
Hey, but if you could get rid of rape,
Let's just kill off more.
just kidding.
I knew Justin would pipe in with
No,
that.
you got to have devil's avocados. You know?
No, I know, no, for sure. And it's not like, but the thing is, like, the woman would not, she couldn't be in on it. She just wouldn't.
Okay.
know.
Now, I'm not saying this would be my answer, but purely for the devil's advocate. Like, what if you found someone that was like deserved it?
Deserve
raped?
what?
Well, like the guy that deserved to get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's like
So
the same
who-
thing.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
at
if I'm
least
gonna do
like
murder,
if I'm
we're gonna
killing
kill
him, I can
someone.
make it just like real quick, right?
Also, I don't think
You're talking
women even
about
rape.
someone.
I don't know.
Someone
I don't
out
want
there
to go down
deserves
this
to be
road.
raped.
I was just
So
purely playing devil's
Justin would
advocate.
rape someone.
That
should
is
just-
not my answer.
Just do a long beep around
Absolutely
this
not.
minute
Someone's-
of conversation.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely
you're saying
not.
maybe someone who killed someone, they deserve to be raped, do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was my question. How do you determine who deserves that?
Who deserves to get murdered?
That's true. We
At least you
have
survive.
I mean,
rape.
we have death row. We don't have fucking rape row.
Hey, I bet you they did back in the day. I guarantee you. I bet we come from
everybody.
savage
Just saying,
upbringings.
we didn't. Rape is not funny.
Murder was also
It's
my
not
answer.
A, it's
Yeah.
not a funny
It was
thing,
not.
but we are having a good time, and it's hilarious. The things that are coming out of our mouths right now.
My answer was because I it's probably fun to say.
I don't even want to know
murder.
your answer because I'm just gonna be like this.
Fun to
Oh no,
say
I didn't
murder.
say murder. I said rob a bank is what I said.
Yeah, that's what JJ said.
Rob a bank.
So that why do you care about the banks getting robbed?
Oh, because I'd get away with it, and then no one
Yeah,
else could
but-
do it.
And he would be rich.
Yes, that's the crime you care about the most.
Well, I just
When
probably
it comes to the
could've
one
killed
that I want to commit, you know what I mean? Like
He's not
I
worried
wanna
about
hear
the
yours, Doyle.
betterment of
I chose
mankind.
DUI.
you gotta,
He
you
wants
gotta,
the money.
you gotta live with that.
Okay, because that's also eliminating a lot of deaths.
someone. Like, yeah.
So you're just
no
saying.
one's happy about a DUI.
So you're just saying I'll get real drunk, I'll get pulled over, I'll go to jail, just so that nobody else ever does.
Right. Or dies from it.
Yeah.
Think about all the deaths from that.
Yeah. That's true.
At that point,
That's a
Justin would
safe
be
one.
Justin would be
That's a safe
relegated to
one.
riding his bike everywhere.
Whoa.
I get that. Something that's not going to
Luke
ruin
commits,
your
Luke
life.
commits the
Right.
last
You can
one,
get over
and then
that bump.
it's like, well, looks like we all got to buy scooters.
Yeah, that was my answer. Because I'm like, I forget what Kyle said. It was some weird.
Yeah, imagine.
I didn't know what it was.
Who said fraud? Or perjury? Who
No,
said
that's what he
perjury?
said.
Oh, that's what
That's what
Kyle
he said.
Because it
What?
wasn't his initial response, but someone he heard say it. And I think the whole point is if
You can't
if
lie in
no one
court.
could ever perjure themselves,
Wow.
then you would always get justice.
Yeah.
That's
Theoretically.
good. That's good. Yeah.
Which is noble.
The guilty would always get punished. Yeah, in the court system anyway.
Do you know just until a few years ago, I don't know if it was a few years, but pretty recently, we were still doing like the firing squad in Idaho for death penalty. They just line you up and just have like a
Wait.
Like a certain amount at a time.
Hold on. So you're saying this was actually happening, or it was just technically one of those outdated laws?
I don't as far okay, I just need to look it up now.
Okay,
Yes,
look
please.
up the last
But in
person that was
Idaho-
killed via firing squad in the U.S.
I'm pretty sure in Idaho.
So they just line a certain amount up and
Yeah, maybe like 10 dudes with AKs.
Yeah, and there's one guy there.
I mean, it's a quick death.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're not all-
regardless,
they're
it's
not
a
all
quick
gonna
death,
miss,
right?
right?
It's
So they don't do
cheaper-
like the chair anymore, right? It's just like lethal injection.
Yeah, I don't think they
Yeah,
do the
lethal
chair.
injection.
But isn't
That's
lethal
super
injection-
expensive too.
Everything's pretty humane now.
Because if you brought the chair back, people will stop. You're gonna stop doing them things.
That is crazy, right? That is a pretty big deterrent. Getting electrocuted. That would be rough.
Bring it back, baby.
It's ruthless.
You ever
I
see
mean,
Green
I've been
Mile?
watching my
Yeah, that's a sad movie.
I don't know if
That was nuts.
Because he was innocent, wasn't he?
Well, did he end up being innocent?
I think so.
Not only
God, I
that.
haven't seen that in so long. Have you seen that? It is so sad.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I get that movie mixed up with Shawshank Redemption.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Not as sad.
all right.
I
might have to
love
come back.
both movies though. They're both really good movies.
They're
not
both
saying
really good
anything.
movies.
It's Green Mile had
Scratch that.
Tom Hanks, right? That was
Disagree.
Tom Hanks.
Was it?
I think he was a guard.
Yeah. Who's the main person though? Is it Morgan? It's not Morgan Freeman.
Oh, best
Is it-
prison movies? Is that what we're doing?
Is it Morgan Freeman or is it
No, the main
Denzel
dude.
Washington? Is it?
No. It was that huge dude.
Oh, I'm talking about Shawshank.
Oh, Shawshank? No, it was
Law-abiding citizen.
Morgan Freeman.
That's okay. Yeah.
Ooh, Gerard Butler
Oh,
with the tunnel. Yeah, classic.
Oh, that was good. Where he like blows it all up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
law-abiding citizen.
Dude.
burrows his
so
way
good.
into the yeah.
Dude.
I like those, like the mastermind.
Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
like an insanely elaborate plan.
So I guess I just have a list of weird things that I thought about, and I don't know why. I just need to flesh them out a little bit. So I heard
This is original from your brain.
from my brain things I've written down. So No, this is not like, I'm not about to like do beat poetry. I'm just saying like, these are thoughts I had, right? So like basically I was listening to Spotify and you have the ads and stuff. One of them came up and Kyle's like, I've been hearing those ads for years. I'm like, dude, I've never heard one. Like,
For what? I
so
missed the first
Pfizer's
part.
doing vaccines for the elderly for like this thing called pneumococcal pneumonia. You guys heard of this?
Nope.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
Mm.
Pneumococcal pneumonia. And they just kept saying it. And I was just like, this is a serious thing. Like, I feel like it's something they invented so they could sell more vaccines. I'm just like, what in the world is
I
this?
wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, they made a lot of money.
Pneumococcal. And who even calls it that? I don't know. It's weird. I just didn't know if you've
got a
heard
ring to it.
Unfortunate
I
to
just didn't know
get.
if you've heard it.
It's
Got
a
ring
kind
to
of
it.
pneumonia.
I guess. Pneumococcal.
I'd just probably stick
Just
with
please.
pneumonia.
Keep saying
Try to say it. How many
Pneumococcal.
times can he say it?
We just so
Take a drink
So it's
every
called
time
pneumococcal.
JJ says pneumococcal.
Yeah.
New drinking game.
To pneumococcal.
Yeah. So I guess no one else has heard of it except for Justin. All right.
And Kyle.
Justin probably heard it from
Justin heard
Joe
a podcast
Dispenza or
on
something.
it yesterday.
Yeah. He
No, I
just,
think it's just
he just
random
puts a
ads, yeah.
podcast on to sleep, and for some reason his brain just
I
takes
do
it all
that.
in.
He's just like, yes, I've heard of that.
I don't remember
doing a
when I
lot.
heard this.
And this is how you treat it.
I've been doing a lot of Lex Friedman lately because he is like equal parts an incredible moderator, interviewer, but also so monotone. So you just
He's Russian.
sonk.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's a good. Yeah, he's a very neutral
Did you see his
Kinda
interview with Ye?
posture. No.
He was like calling him out.
Yay. He's
Like, it
pretty
was-
much canceled by everyone. They
It was
would
pretty
not
impressive,
play
though.
any Kanye at karaoke or on the party bus. Like, nope, canceled. Or R.
crazy.
Kelly.
That makes sense though.
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, they both make sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's gonna come back to God again.
I'm not
And
gonna
He's
lie.
gonna get a. He's gonna.
Kanye?
I will
Kanye's
listen to
gonna have a
808
second
and
coming.
Heartbreak for the rest of my life. That album was
For
so
sure. I mean,
good.
I'm still going to listen to some. So
But-
I probably won't listen to new music, though.
He's a little, yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
You can't just get away with
I
saying
mean-
certain things. I feel like.
Yeah.
but Lex Friedman did a really good job, like calling him out, and it was just a good interview. Like it wasn't like because most people I feel like put on like the kid
Was that the
gloves
guy
with
that was
Kanye.
asking him, like, do you have anyone that really
That can-
cares about you?
Yeah,
that will tell
someone
you
that can
you're-
tell you when you're
yeah,
messing
yeah,
up.
Okay, I saw some of that.
Yeah. But he was just really direct with him. It's like you're just not used to seeing like a stranger that kind of meets someone for the first time really just be really blunt. But like you could tell it was very sincere. And you could tell
Yeah.
like Kanye was almost like caught off guard because he was like, no one
Yeah,
asks
yeah.
me questions like this. Or like no one says this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was just talking like he actually cared about Kanye, which I guess everyone's a human, so you should have some type of.
You wonder if part of that is like
Lex
part
is
of
like a humanitarian. Like, he cares.
also feels like a robot though.
He is. Yeah, for sure.
You wonder how much of that is like culture.
Culture for sure. Yeah.
Crazy.
But he has to he does a very good job of staying neutral. And especially since like he's from Russia and people always call it like his loyalty into question because it's like, you know, he's very clearly
Mhm.
Russian, has ties with Russia still. And he's very much like somehow walks that line. I don't know how he does it.
I like that shirt hat combo.
Thank you.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Number 2, baby. We'll see. See what happens.
I'm going to Ohio this weekend
Are you?
Nice for what?
with Nate and the wives.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
We're going to a game. They're playing Indiana.
Oh yeah, that'll be sweet.
Oh wow.
Bro, the Horseshoe is a really cool atmosphere. You're gonna love it.
Never
Wow,
been.
that'll be fun.
Bro,
Probably going to win by 900.
I hope so. We need a big
Indiana's
one.
usually a tough game though.
Yeah, they post.
really?
they post
Weirdly,
that.
yeah, Indiana. Like, I mean, everyone brings their biggest game when it comes to playing Ohio State
that's
in the
true.
Big Ten.
That's true.
Not to sound like
No, that's
cocky
how it
or whatever.
works.
It's
That's
just
how it
what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped.
Dude, that'll be sweet.
That's
yeah, the
fun.
Horseshoe is. There's no place like it.
No
Like
place
106,
like the
107,000.
Is that what it's called?
The horseshoe, yeah.
You'll see when you get there. It's like they've closed it in recently, but it's like it is a big horseshoe, and then one end they like built up a stadium, but it's not like connected all the way. It's not like a bowl.
Isn't that where the screen is on the other side?
Yeah.
It's been years since I've been there. I mean, I get confused between stadiums.
Yeah,
now.
they did a big renovation where they like dug it into the ground more to add like seats and stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah. So before I get into the serious stuff, the last thought I'd written down, which is kind of sensitive to some people, right? I get it, but calling someone a retard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when you call someone a retard, are you really trying to make fun of everyone who actually has, like, you know, a retardation, like, you know, issue, right? Like, so, or what are you really trying to say there, right? Like, because I feel like a lot of times, because it used to be fun to say, just whatever, right? You growing up, it's like you didn't care, you didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, nope, just can't say it. I don't know.
That one's interesting. I had one of my best friends growing up had a brother that had Prader-Willi syndrome. So it's like we grew up, like, that word was just very common. So we would say it, but we also would be like kind of careful.
Sure, you don't
There's
say it
definitely-
around, yeah. Because people who don't know you will get the wrong idea. Like, you really are ripping on people with disabilities, but you're not doing that, right? So
Yeah.
'cause it's like,
I just feel like if as long as you're aware of like your surroundings and what you're saying around,
yeah, that's true.
because I guess you don't ever really know what people's thoughts are on certain things. So even if
Right.
someone's not like on the spectrum at all, but they're still like, maybe they have a brother or a sister that is, or like,
no, right. You don't know what
you
their
just- you
personal
don't know, like,
situation
yeah.
that's really affected them. Yeah. Cause I mean, it's just like when you see someone just acting like an idiot, right? And you're just like, all right, you're straight up retarded right now.
yeah,
It's just like, all you're saying is that you are perfectly fine in your mental capability, but you are legit like acting like you're not.
yeah.
So you
I
have
feel
a
like
problem.
also, but there's like, what's stopping you from just being like, instead of calling them that, what's stopping you just be like, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
Oh, I use them interchangeably for sure. Yeah.
cause I guess just that's the technical term for people that are on the spectrum, right? Like that's an actual term, like the
Uh-huh.
definition. So maybe it's just like you're putting just like,
Is
like
it
making light of something that's like,
does idiot also have a technical definition though?
I think idiot, isn't it like a spectrum where like
an
idiot,
idiocracy.
like, and I think it might be related to IQ, but I thought idiot was like one of, like, technically the dumbest you can be. I think idiot's supposed to be the worst, which is probably why it just became super common.
But what spectrum
Well, and
is
It
it?
doesn't really
and
even
it's not
have
like-
any weight anymore.
it's
It
not
just
like
says-
technical to a specific.
I thought it
group
was
of
based
people.
on IQ.
It says person of low intelligence.
Yeah, I don't know.
And what's the technical definition of retard?
Delay or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment. Well, that's not the same. A person who has mental disability. So, but a person of low IQ would technically have a mental disability, right? Or no? Is that not a disability? Having low intelligence.
I don't know.
Really interesting.
That's
Yeah, I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you have some people that are like super like book smart, but that are just like the dumbest people, like in like
We know.
outside.
We know who you're talking about.
Wasn't thinking of names, but all right. I think
Instantly
I
when
know
you
where you're
said that,
going.
one name came to
I
mind.
think I know where you're going. But yeah, it's interesting.
Dumb means temporarily unable or willing to speak, or
Like dumbfounded.
Oh, it's like those old school movies. They'd be like, "Are you dumb, boy?"
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think dumb is just
It's like
basically
mute.
I'm gonna start using that phrase.
make dumb
You
or
dumb boy?
unheard silence. So dumb is, dumb's like mute. I never really knew that. Interesting. You learn something new every day, everybody. Okay.
Yeah, I guess in general, I grew up saying that word a lot, so it just didn't. It was just normal. Like it was.
Well, I feel like we're just so ignorant though when we're kids. Like
Yeah.
we don't really.
Well, you hear older kids say it, like it's
Well,
like.
yeah, you're just like trying to be cool, make
I
fun
mean,
of your
any of that
buddies and-
stuff, like provocative language, like that's why. I mean, they've done studies and found that like literally saying the F word is more beneficial in terms of reducing stress than saying like darn it, and it's a direct correlation to like our perception of
taboo
how
it is.
bad the word is. By saying it, it provides a greater level of release. So it's like
Like if
when
that
there's
word wasn't so taboo, it would not feel as good saying it.
right, and so
less people
and there's
would
an
probably
actual
say it.
tangible benefit, and so it's like a word like retarded. It's like, oh, we're not supposed to say it, so it's like something about like there's a legitimate like because it's perceived as so bad in our minds or just as more on the bad side of the spectrum, like theoretically it would provide a greater level of relief or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, we can move on from that. So I want to talk about, like, kind of main subject matter wise, was something that Justin, you and I talked about the other day, and it was like the treasures in heaven thing. And I thought it was interesting just because, so it's like, we shouldn't store up treasures on earth, but treasures in heaven, right? It's kind of like the theme of what the Bible tells us. And that's really more so means like investing into people's souls, doing things that necessarily, you know, you aren't going to find your reward here on earth for. But then the other thing is like some people I feel like then use that as like, oh, it's like my treasure. Like, but really it's like you shouldn't expect anything if you do something for someone. Mm-hmm. But if, you know, because of that, like some people will be like, well, yeah, I'm just building my treasure in heaven. It's like, well, I mean, it's not like I'm keeping track of all the things I do so that I can know what kind of treasure I'm like going to, you know? Mm-hmm. So it almost like creates this thing where you're still doing it for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
There still is an element of like materialism.
Yeah. Weird. Right.
So I'm sorry I missed that. What does that mean? Your treasure in heaven?
Yeah. Justin, I don't know if you explain it better.
Yeah. There's a verse that says like, don't store for yourselves treasure on earth where like moth and rust were like destroy and thieves can break in and steal, but store like for yourself treasures in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy and thieves cannot break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. It's basically saying it's like your willingness to be selfless on this side of eternity will get you more rewards in heaven kind of vibe. Which, I mean, but depending
like
on
what? I thought it's like either you go or you don't, baby. Like you in or you out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I definitely
that's the other thing.
With this
like that's like the like heaven's a hierarchy is kind of how you understand it.
You saying I got like more options at the buffet or what?
I mean, it wasn't uncommon to like talk or joke about like, oh, like I'm gonna get like that pool at my mansion, and like it's just like some people might be living in a shack in heaven. It's like we relate creating this.
We relate it to our materialism
this
here.
Thing.
Yeah,
I feel like that's an ignorant
could be projection.
Because I feel like everyone's equal. I mean, that's what my assumption would be, right? Everyone's equal and everyone
so that's
has access to the
so
same
that's
thing.
An interesting thought. Is because it's like it says
you don't have 30 years of religious conditioning behind you, so you're thinking logically.
I'm saying if you let me in,
True
I
words
should be
have never
good,
been
right? If I'm good, I'm good, right? I guess that's always my thing. It's like if I'm good, I'm good. If I'm a good person, I'm all right.
Yeah, it is so fascinating.
You shouldn't be allowed to make a decision whether you're a Christian or not until you turn 30. It's like you shouldn't. Like, it's just like, you know what? You're just not old enough. Yeah, man.
I don't know enough about that.
What do you mean? Oh, treasures in heaven thing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's interesting because
how does it hit you? I mean, because you know the verse, right? Mm-hmm. You've heard the verse.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I've also heard like you get jewels on your crown.
Right.
Seriously.
But it's all. But the thing is, like,
that's all very symbolic.
Yeah.
It's written
meant to be
years
I'd
ago.
imagine. I'm not.
So it's like,
but it's when we read it and take it literally because we're idiots.
The problem is
that's the same as like jewels on a crown would be the same as like you get a Bugatti. Like it's it's the coolest thing you can own or whatever that is for you.
Think they have those there? Bugattis?
Probably not. They say there's streets of gold. So I mean, I don't know if we got chariots
like
out there.
Gold Bugattis, my guy.
Tiers of people in heaven. There's different tiers. Like I mean, just like society is right
system.
now.
Well, see, no, it's interesting because it's like
That's
something
kinda what
we've just always heard it. We haven't thought about it, but it's hitting you like what? What is that? Like because it doesn't really make sense.
That sounds stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's interesting.
Oh, why don't we look up the verse? No one's got their computer. Okay. You guys, I feel like you didn't come prepared for this.
But I think the initial motivation is always to say it's hard. I don't know. Because people are so goal driven and like reward driven that like it's like the carrot and the stick kind of a thing. I mean,
all right. So here's
the goal is to just be more selfless.
But yeah, but then at that point, if you're doing more like good things in your life, just to be on that top tier in heaven, like that's not a selfless reason to do those things.
That's it right there. If you're living your life trying to gain rewards, then you're not there. I would say that's an idol.
I guess part of it too is just the scriptures, at least as far as I understand, the scriptures don't like really clearly articulate, like when it says like store up treasures in heaven. I think we naturally think of like treasure in heaven as like what we believe treasure on earth to be. But I think end of the day, like heaven, if there is a good place or if there is something like that after this, I don't know. You would think that it's like it would all go to a place where there actually was like a beautiful like equality amongst like everyone, where it's like even no one was greater or lesser.
Wouldn't be a thing. Like
Right.
So how do you even get a better?
I think one
House.
way of
And that's what I'm saying. Like if currency's not a thing, none of these things are a thing. Like
it's like when you store up your treasures in heaven instead, meaning not like literal gold and whatever, but like if you live on earth with an eternal perspective, that will set you up for a better life and a better destination, I guess, in a sense. Like, don't be so focused on your treasures on earth that will fade, but your treasures in heaven instead, meaning like the end goal of it all.
I guess
in a sense.
Just what's interesting about it.
This verse doesn't even have any additional context around it. It's just basically it's just saying like doing things in secret. You know, God will reward you. Don't do stuff so people can notice. That was kind of the deal.
Right.
Here's another thought is like, we've talked about this before a long time ago on the podcast, but how like when there's always the verbiage in scripture that talks about like storing up things in heaven or the kingdom of heaven, we always like, a lot of times you think of it as like the next life, but it's also like when Jesus was actually like baptized and he was actually talking to people and he's saying like repent for the kingdom of heaven like is at hand. Maybe he's saying like you basically build up equity in the kingdom, which is now, it's not like the next life, by living a selfless life here. So it's like you essentially, you can live in a way that introduces the treasures of heaven to earth.
Yeah.
Just by living that way. I think we just always make it about the next life. But the thing that's crazy about it is like, if we're already agreeing that the best way to live is a selfless existence, then why are we taking the small part of eternity and living selflessly to then be selfish for eternity? If it's all about like having treasures in heaven, it's the next life.
Well, that's the flaw with it.
That's why I think it, like, I don't know that necessarily means like this materialistic type of pursuit in the next life.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people think that.
Well, when you get to heaven,
I can tell you a lot
there
of people
will be
think
no
that.
more selfishness if you think about it. Because, so that last part of what you just said, are you saying people are like, if you live an unselfish life here, the reward of that is a selfish reward there? Well, or are you saying that's the problem?
I think a lot of people think of it that way. It's like, I need to like, suffer might not be the right word, but I need to like live a sacrificial existence here so that I can have a better existence in heaven.
Right. And that would be a flaw.
And that's like, still, it's like, well, you're still just choosing your comfort.
Exactly.
And you're admitting that it's better to live selflessly, but it's like
for your benefit. But
you're also choosing to be selfish and comfortable for eternity, which is like, I mean, I don't fault you for it.
So it comes down to why live a selfless life.
And that's why I think it has more to do with
motivation.
Well, I think that there's fulfillment in living a selfless life for sure.
But
I think there is reward in that. That's the thing. But like, it's in this life that we feel that reward.
Right.
And I do wonder why it would be written that way, because it almost, human beings and all of our temptations and ability to be sucked into stuff, it's almost like whoever wrote this knew how we would read it. You know what I mean? It's just like, why would you write it that way? Because it's almost like kind of enticing people to be like, all right, well, save up for the next life. You know, it's
so you make it like an investment, but it's hard. Well, it's hard. It's one of those things because it's like, how do you, like, when it gets into the elements of motive, like, how do you really judge someone's motive?
Well, I'm saying, why even put it that? Why even say it that way? Like, it could be said probably different. You know, to where it's like, we're not basically implying that there's this treasure we're going to. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know.
Yeah, it could have been a little more clear.
A lot of things could be more clear.
Well, you also wonder though, like how it would read in the original text, like in the Greek.
Well, my question
if it would
is,
translate.
I think it's good
kind of clean like that
to explore the motives.
For
Well, yeah,
sure.
maybe that's why they're not as clear because they're like because the real ones are gonna understand.
Because if you're a Christian,
That's also
if
something
you're a
that's in the Bible
Christian-
too. That's like a lot of people will basically see and not understand or hear and not understand.
right. I guess my point is if you're like a follower of Jesus, like for real, your motivation isn't reward, it's to follow his example. And that's that. You
That's
know what I
true.
mean? So it's like, if you're not that, like to me, there's a lot of like black and white. So if you're not a follower of Jesus, it's like, yeah, you live a selfless life just to do your best and be a good person, maybe. But there's also the other side of it that's like, what's the point? Why not be selfish?
This is your only life. There's nothing after this. Then
Right.
why wouldn't you just
And so if you believe,
take out everyone else?
if you're a believer, your
Because something in
example
you
is
feels
someone-
wrong when you are.
Well,
Sure.
that's what the whole religion is really tried to articulate is what's that something in you that's telling you that it's wrong.
Right.
Because we could all realistically, if we were just, because the argument is like, if we were all just evolved beings that came out of a sense of nothingness,
Why do you?
why do
we
we?
wouldn't feel that, right?
Right.
What?
Well,
yeah, we wouldn't feel that.
Right.
Yeah.
But on a fundamental level, as creation, trying to explain the creator is us trying to explain the unexplainable. Because it's like
To an extent.
Bible even
for
says
sure.
like his ways or his
Yeah.
thoughts and ways are above ours. Like
Right.
it's so it's like there's some element where it's like this was our best attempt at explaining what we couldn't understand
Sure.
and things that were kind of beyond our comprehension. But
But,
yeah.
but it's like, if this is like, why? So we already do this to an extent with countries. So what I mean by that is basically like a lot of evangelicals too will just be like, all right, USA, screw everyone else. Like, that is not like God didn't create us in countries. Like he created mankind.
Right.
But a
Well,
lot
Jesus
of people
definitely, if anything, changed it. I mean, God had his like chosen country or race, like the Israelites.
No, I understand. But what I'm
Jesus
saying is
definitely
like a
changed
lot of
that.
people are just like, are just all about
They're
like
patriot
waving their
over
Bible as they are
Christian.
about waving the flag,
Yeah.
Right.
which is incorrect. The Bible should be over
God
not the
before
Bible,
country.
but the Bible as a representation of God. God should be over all of that. Like
Yeah.
it's not, but a lot of us are just like, that's just confused me about us putting our safety in the government's hands and being like, all right, well, don't let anyone in over a border. Right. Which is also a very conservative mindset. We're just like, all right, let's not, because we're afraid of these people being dangerous and whatever. It's just like, well, they're also human. So they're all like God's creation. So what are we really saying?
Yeah.
So
It's a
That's a good point.
An
part of it is-
because there's also like I don't think there's anything wrong with that being the filter and then taking everything case by case.
Sure.
Because if like I've heard the example of like then just like leave your front door wide open to your house and
well, don't be stupid.
right. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. So filter that through everyone.
Well,
is
yeah, just because you're a
created
good
by
person
God.
doesn't mean everyone's a good
Right.
person.
All right. Here's
You
the
don't have to trust everyone. You don't have to
Right.
case by case.
But yeah, but you don't have to. You can not trust someone and still be a great person. Yeah, right.
Sure.
But it's almost like that's why God gave us autonomy and free will to make the decisions on our own to whether to trust people or not, right? And we have to like trust in our own discernment. It doesn't necessarily mean that because I feel like one person out of every 1,000 people who come across the border is bad, we shut it down.
Sure.
I think that's horrible. Like if people really need help or whatever, then we should be there to provide that.
Well, I think the hard part though is you can't just go into any other country. So it's like, I agree with you. Like if there's any country that's built to withstand it, it's probably us. But at the same time, it's like anything else, like every action has equal and opposite reaction. So it's like, there will be consequences. Like,
Yeah.
so it's going to put a big strain on.
Sure.
the
And
country.
I'm using, these are fake numbers, right? That I'm using, but say it was that 1 in 1,000 number, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to help 999 other people and that one person is going to cause, crap for some other people, like, was it worth helping those 999?
Well, it should be because we already have that 1 in 1,000 here, right?
Yeah. So there shouldn't be any argument. Yes, it's worth it. Right. But yes, there will be consequences for some people.
And there will be argument
Yeah. I mean,
because someone's going to say,
Well, and the hard
it's
thing
not
is
worth it.
we already take in more migrants per year than any other country legally.
but we do take
So
a
it's
lot
like-
of crap, like as if we don't, though. I mean, which is kind of like,
And it's not that it's just about that, but the hard part is like this is the problem is like, I feel like there's this big argument that's saying like you're a bigot if you are like against like closing the border. Because you're just like, we can handle them, like let them in. And you're like, no, I know we can, like it's not going to kill us.
No, but the progressive view that I don't like is the fact that like, okay, let's let them all in, but we don't have a plan.
But
there's literally no plan. We're just going to bus them to like, I mean, that's what, because Texas doesn't want them. So they're going to bus them everywhere. Is that the thing?
Well, that's what well, because they've been crossing into Texas and Texas is like, we can't keep taking all these. Like you guys, if you need to help us with this, if you're not going to close the border down, y'all need to help us handle all these people. Cause like we're not built to handle all these people.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It's a tricky situation.
It is.
That's why systems are in place or should be in place to.
And that's kind of the government's part of it too, is though that like over the last couple hundred years, like we've been pretty much domesticated, and like a couple hundred years ago, like every man was like ready to go to war, had a gun in the house, like you kind of self-policed.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, it's common now to see like a video of someone. I literally saw this thing in like the New York subway system where someone was literally getting like sexually assaulted, and like everyone was just standing around watching, like recording on the phone. Like not one person was like, dude,
Actually
stop.
spoke up. Yeah.
Really?
Like it's like a really
Which is
weird,
so mind blowing.
That's amazing.
it's like a really weird reality where it's like we've just gone through this thing where it's just like we don't protect ourselves, the police protect us. And
well, the crazy thing is too, it's like people think,
but then we also villainize.
I don't know what
shit doesn't.
I don't know what happened. I don't know whose fault it is.
We
but for
turned into
some reason,
pussies.
people think that
Facts.
recording it on your phone and posting it is the version of justice that people want, and that's not true. Like people really want actual justice.
Well, I get that gets the conversation starter. And
yeah, but then it's those people who like say like, "Oh, justice," but then they just also want the internet
also,
points.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's crazy.
I always have this question.
Have you seen
that, like,
Inside Man
If
on
you didn't
Netflix?
post about it, would it even?
Wait, is that the?
If you didn't take like,
If you couldn't post about it,
is it real? Did it happen? Yeah.
like, does it still affect you? Or are you only posting it because, and not just that category, but just everyone in general?
Yeah.
You went on that vacation and you didn't post a picture about
oh
it.
yeah.
Did you-
It's like living in the moment. You go to a concert, you have to record. Like
right.
I try not to, like when we go on our trips, I don't post anything.
I try to keep
I
it
post
minimum.
maybe when we get back one post. Like people go on
I'll
trips,
take
dude, they'll
photos
post
and
the
I'll usually
whole
post at
time
the
they're
end of the
there.
day.
Yeah.
Just be like
all right,
looking back at the photos, posting.
I don't. I don't.
I'll
think
do
there's
it like
anything
about
wrong.
like
I just
family.
think
I'll
it's
just
just like
more often I'll post a picture of like me and the family or something.
it
More
goes-
so than,
My
like,
problem is
being
like
somewhere,
my
but
problem is there's a lot
rare-
of people
yeah,
that
not often.
really want to go on trips that I know. They're like right and like I'm friends with, but they just can't afford it. And I feel bad. Like I'm not going to sit there and just rub it in people's faces that I'm in.
But you circle back.
You know?
It circles back to the motive, just like the first part of it. Like, are you posting that
Well,
to flex?
exactly.
Or are you posting that to say, "Man, this was really cool. I just want my people to see."
You're
You-
like, yeah, I'm
you've
super
seen-
grateful for this experience.
Okay.
I want.
You've seen the Instagram user base. How many of those people do you think
No,
have had
yeah.
motivation?
99%
Exactly, yeah.
flex. Yeah.
So
But that's my point.
That's a perfect segue because I brought this up to JJ last week because I used to be such a hater when I would see people like doing like videos of like giving people money or like really helping people because I'm like, it's like that verse we talked about, like do it in secret and let God reward you, like whatever.
Literally.
I
what we're
love
talking
those
about.
videos, right?
I
Because
know-
I love seeing people
That's what I'm saying.
do those kinds of
All
point,
of
though.
these things
It's a
are
good point.
contagious. So it's like when we have this negative connotation towards like videos based around generosity, like regardless of the motivation and the intent, even if it's just for clicks and views, it's like Jay Shetty is like one of my favorite follows because it's like it was the video I showed you where like there was this
Jay
little
Shetty.
kid. There's this little kid. It was like Halloween time, and he had to be like maybe 2-3 years old. And he was super oblivious. This guy rolls up behind him with like the Michael Myers, like super
I've seen this video.
scary,
It's
like
so
with a
sweet.
knife.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
it
he
goes
like,
to, like
tries to scare
yeah.
him.
The little
And the
kid?
kid just like turns around and looks at him for like a couple seconds. And then he just like lifts his hands up to just go hug him. And the caption was like, this child literally only knows love.
makes you want to cry.
And it's like, yeah, because you're just like, oh my gosh, like this, like
So-
who
so-
knows if that's even what it is, but like you just start to think,
His
you're like,
mind doesn't automatically go to this person.
like his mind's not his mind's not worried. Like he's
This
been
is a
so
this is a
conditioned
hot
by
button.
love.
That's
like
cool.
the verse in the Bible that you're talking about is the one that's like, "Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing," and people. we literally were going through this at church a couple weeks ago because people were like blasting us for posting a video of like reaching out or like doing an outreach in the
Generosity
community
type stuff. Yeah.
and they're quoting that verse. They're like, "Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing."
Right.
And it's the general thesis of our conversation because it's the motivation is don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing is meaning like, are you wanting this to be known so that you can be recognized for how you're
Right.
doing this? Or is the goal like,
to get more people to do that.
hey,
or-
this is what
We believe
this is what
in.
we do.
Yeah.
We go do this. Look at the help that this is happening. Like, and when you make something,
you're not
a
like,
statement
look at
like
me,
that,
I'm kind.
right. It's just like, we're out here doing good stuff.
But
and
the thing is,
you'll never in your life, people will always,
But all
think
that
one
and
way or
all
the
that
other.
stuff's
but
contagious.
it's also it's completely like it's impossible to separate the motivations.
It's all about perspective.
because a lot
yeah.
of like churches are doing that so that they can get people in the door too. So it's like they're always trying to get more
That's true.
followers,
It's up
more
to
people
you,
in the
it's
door.
up to you to discern
Yeah.
because you'll be exhausted if you forever.
Well, here's the
try
hard
and
thing: it's
figure
like
out people's
even
motivation.
even in that.
Well, I know churches'
intention,
motivations are
that
do,
can still
like-
be coming from like a good place. They can say like, we want more people in the doors because
Right.
in our
Yeah, it
opinion,
can be both.
more people in the door means that like more people are hearing the gospel.
Right. No,
And
so
it's like you would
it's
hope
just-
that they would join
yeah,
the community.
ultimate motivation is hard to land
tithe
on.
and-
but I'm
and
just
whatever,
saying you
but-
can never fully separate. You can never say that person was fully the only way, dude. Any of those influencers that give away money and iPhones and stuff would really like be genuine is if they did it anonymously and they posted under some anonymous name, didn't show their face, didn't show their name.
then it wouldn't get enough.
But here's what's crazy.
Maybe,
though.
yeah, sure.
But
But
here's
what-
what's crazy
it's
is we
just like-
demonize that kind of stuff. But then like, what do we consume normally? It's all
Hold on, my babysitter's
trash.
calling me. I gotta take this.
No worries. But it's like because all of these things are in their own ways contagious, it's like when you're watching more things about generosity, like it makes me want to be more mindful.
Yeah.
And then when I watch more things about just like fear-based like nonsense or just
Well, it
like
just reminds you have no idea what everybody's going through.
Yeah,
because
all that stuff.
it's the bad stuff that always gets the most clicks, you know? Like look at clickbait. People will lie about stuff and make it appear worth
Yeah.
like bro, you go on like some like social media apps and it's like they have these thumbnails with these super provocative like titles that are like, and you watch a video and you're like, that was literally nothing to do with the video. Like I was like, that was told like, so they're literally just trying to trick you into clicking for views and money. I mean, it's like, so like, because I used to be a big hater and I was like do that to get something back or like to get views. But it's like, the more I watch it, it's like, yeah, we need more of this content.
and you have to talk about it because think about, you could even take this to like sharing like your testimony with somebody. Well, imagine you kept that private.
Well, they're going to consume some kind of content. Why don't we want more like uplifting, generosity based content that's actually going to like move people's like hearts to like want to help other people?
It's
Because when I watch these videos, I'm like, dude,
I love those videos.
like
bro.
I went to Chipotle.
I love them. You ever
I
see,
want,
like,
I want
Murphy's
my
Life?
children to be like that kid.
You heard of Murphy's Life? They go to
Right.
like other countries and like buy them whole ass houses.
It's the coolest thing.
well, they're like sleeping on concrete.
Right.
It's crazy.
And
it's
the-
like-
it's not like to me, yeah, I don't
And they
know.
have like paralyzed children and like
I would recommend
100-year-old women.
figure out, like if you see a video from a church or from someone like that, just go research them and figure out the motivation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not that you can pinpoint it like JJ said, but you
But it's
can
like
at least
they could be
get an
doing
idea.
something worse. It's like you try to pull negatives out of everything, but it's like
Yeah.
worst case scenario. This guy is like maybe not in it for the right reasons, but he's still blessing
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Like,
that person's life's changed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
So unless
exhausting
he's
to
like
deal with
doing a
people.
video pretending they're giving out money and they don't actually give out that money,
Right. The video ends and he's like, "All right, give me my house back."
He's like, all right, sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like,
That's why
I
I
have
just
no
think
problem, and the way the technology's, the trajectory of it, it's only going to get more and more.
People just want to be mad.
They just want to find a reason to hate people.
Why can't you just be happy?
It's brutal. People exhaust me.
that's why we
trying to
need
find
more
a
of that
negative in
content. Like
everything.
that's what's beautiful. It's like, dude, anytime Jay Shetty drops a post, 50% chance I'm crying.
I know.
But it's
they're
just
so
because it's just
deep.
like, bro, this is so wholesome.
Yeah.
This is
No,
so
and it's
innocent.
his
Like
calming
it's just,
voice. It's
you
his
can
voice.
you can just, it's like you see through a lens like this, like just the beauty of what life is really supposed to be.
Right.
And it's just that
It's like, stop thinking so far into it.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
let it
yeah.
let it be what it is.
Yeah,
That's why I think that's why I'm like, dude, I was never into that stuff, but it's like, I think we should post more about doing generous things because
I would love to be able
let people
to
judge if they want to judge.
and
but
most of the time that like most of
stuff
the money
touches
that
me.
they're handing out is from the following that they're getting
I've seen
because they're
stuff like
posting
that.
those.
Right.
So they like I follow
It's
this
even
one girl on
cooler.
TikTok. I forgot what her name was, but I mean, I've sent her like maybe $10-20 like over the course of how long I followed her because like every like restaurant she goes to, she'll tip the server like $1,000 and she always
Right.
says like, she wants you to know like this isn't coming from me, like this is coming from my followers and a bunch of
Like
people
all of us, yeah.
that just like want to be kind. But it's like stuff like that. A lot of people that do that are getting money from their followers. So like they do have to keep posting about it
Right.
because they don't necessarily make that money. The money that they're getting is coming from people
Right.
they're like, oh dang, like I wish I could do that.
Right.
Because I watch those videos, I'm like all the time, I was like, dang, I wish I could just
Which
like
it's essentially
go
a
find somebody
nonprofit.
that exactly,
Which is-
yeah.
It's just sick.
I think that's why like the GoFundMe movement kind of blew up because it was literally just like, we can all give a few dollars
Exactly,
and
yeah.
literally change these
It's like
people's lives.
$1 with this many people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we can band together. Like that's what kind of sucks. You're just like, you think about like taxes and like, I mean, I've had this beef with like churches. It's like we take in all this money and then we have these massive budgets to pay for buildings and staff. And it's like, man, like how cool would it be to be able to build a community where it's like, I mean, it'd be really hard because you'd have to also make sure everyone's all in and they're not taking advantage because some people are going to be working hard and not asking for anything in return. Some people are probably going to just require more attention and, you know, whatever. But that'd just be so cool to like be doing it together. And it's like someone's going through just like a rough time or like, I mean, because that's what like you read Acts 2. It's like people like in that community, they sold what they had if someone like was in need. It's like, it wasn't even just out of like the surplus. I just like had some extra in my savings. It was like, yo, I got an extra car I can sell and like, we can help you out. Like, it was like this, like that truly like, I think I've been very fortunate because I feel that same kind of, I feel like I have a handful of relationships in my life where I feel like that's reality where it's like, we really would do anything for each other. But I think the sad thing is most people don't have that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
So it's like you just naturally you just have to be forced to be.
I have that with
put up
you,
walls,
Jess.
right? It's like I know that like I feel like I would like she would never betray me. I would never betray her. Like it was like end of the day, if like it hit the fan, it's like we're gonna have a conversation first about how we're gonna get through it. Like it's always
Yeah.
like, and I think a lot of people just don't have
Like that trust. in other
just that
people
depth
or-
of relationship where it's like, because within that, like, it's like, I'm able to like, I'm still responsible for my things, but it's like, I know that like, there's almost like, there's no fear because it's like, dude, worst case scenario, I lose that, like everything falls apart. It's like, I still know that like, I have an incredible support system around me.
Yeah.
I just feel most people don't have that. So it's like, they just naturally,
I'm so confident in my support
Scarcity.
system. If I lost everything in my possession, I wouldn't be worried. And I don't know who would help. Someone would though,
Mm-hmm.
which is an awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's good.
Well, that's how, I mean, that's why
JJ
that's why I tell people like, I'm so lucky I got this job. And like I like people are like, or like my mom, she'll want to like move to Georgia or like, she's like, I don't want to do that. Cause I like just love, and it's not like I love like, I don't love real estate that much. Right. It's like the environment I'm in and the relationship. Like, I mean, we're like a family. So it's like same thing. It's like, I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not worried about anything. Cause I know if like some serious stuff's going on and I need help, like I have those people there
Yeah, you got help.
that are going to help me. Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Priceless.
For sure.
and I think that was the intent of the whole community thing. And that's what's sad is that just technology and unfortunately the ability to have paved roads and cars that drive fast. Like we can get away with living, 20, 30 minutes away from each other and still technically having a relationship. But, we joke about it all the time. Like how dope would it be to get
We were
10
talking about
acres
that
and
last
all
week.
just all have like a
Like,
house.
let's just all be
and
on the
it's
same
like,
cul-de-sac.
You're like, hey, we're going to head to,
How sick would that be?
Bahamas for a week.
Crazy.
Can you guys like,
Let the dogs out.
we'll, like, the community, like we got the kids, we got the animals.
Like
it's
who's
just
making dinner this? Who's making dinner this Tuesday?
Get on a rotation.
right.
Whose house are we meeting at?
Yeah,
It's like when
that would be
life in
super
community
cool.
is like
Who's
it's meant to
growing
be.
the tomatoes?
It's meant to be easier,
Who's growing the weed?
Yeah. I got the fruits. I got the veggies. I got the bugs. blood.
I'll need 5 acres for my cannabis farm.
Doyle will have the court in his place.
Basketball court in
Yeah.
his driveway.
He'll be in
hoop.
charge of the basketball
hoop.
court.
Loser does
Did you see
dishes.
that? Did you see the story they
Definitely have a
tagged you
pickleball
in?
court.
Yes.
Did you just laugh?
It brought joy to my heart.
You're like, I'm just gonna embarrass.
I'm not going to tell you how many attempts it took to get 2 like switches.
My first thought.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, no way did they both just do
I
that.
wonder how many times.
Dude, we just kept running it,
It
where
was
it's
the bouncing
like
between the legs. And stuff
we're
for
like
me.
one person would just like either barely miss it or like it would just be an ugly, and then the other one would, or like, yeah, it
I
was.
saw that they
I'm gonna
tagged
say it was
you.
probably 50,
It was probably half an hour.
I was like,
I'm gonna
Doyle
say
probably was
50.
like,
What
oh,
happened?
poor
What was this?
baby.
maybe 40.
I'm not online enough to know what you're talking about.
These
We were
guys,
just
I could just
messing around.
imagine
What
your
did you
reaction.
post?
Me and Christian were like shooting hoops out back, and Christian
They
jokes
landed
with Luke
2
every now and then. I
each.
got like playing horse and stuff. So
I'm
me
ready
to
to
do
play
that.
horse. I'm gonna be in second place. Luke's gonna be in first. I'm gonna be in second.
That's a tall order.
that's serious. All right.
Catch me with this boot off, baby.
All right,
Catch
all
me
right.
with this
I
boot
bet
off.
Gabby's got a jumper. Knowing her,
I almost
bet.
played in high school.
She wants
but I
to
just
fight
didn't have
now.
confidence.
Justin tagged me on a video of him and Christian making. Christian made one and then Justin made one
Yeah.
in a row. And we
They're like,
laughing
"We're
about
coming
how
for
long
you,
it took them
Doyle."
to get both.
They
What
tagged
kind of
him in
shot?
it.
Were they half court kind of shots?
No,
Maybe like
Nah,
3
man,
point.
maybe
3-point shots.
probably a free throw extended.
Yeah, it's probably we'll call it 20 feet. Yeah. But they were clean.
They were clean.
They were clean. I give you that.
So it was like swish.
And
we
I'm
were
sure there was
just
a
2
buzzer.
switches back to back. We were joking. We were just joking because we have the chain
awesome.
net, so you can hear it. But we
the
also
chain nets.
we also put the
Yeah.
Space Jam
It was the lifting of the leg and it going between
audio
the legs
behind
for
us. You couldn't
me.
even hear the nets.
Yeah.
But we were basically saying like we'll like see you on the cruise. Like we're coming for you.
Don't remind us.
man.
Hopefully. Oh yeah,
dang.
sorry.
I
Don't
hope
remind
there is
us.
a hoop. That'd
We
be
can play
legendary.
horse. You want to
I
play
just
horse?
talked to a friend. She said
We'll
every
find
cruise
a
she's
hoop.
ever been on, there's been a basketball court.
I'm over 2.
Dang.
So
All right.
Well, quit going on cruise ships that don't have a basketball.
Never mind.
Well,
We could probably find out.
The couple that
we're
I've
gonna
been
miss
on
you guys.
have had them.
I mean, I'll be there every day.
I mean, my
There'll be
preferred
enough people
cardio.
playing.
That's more fun
where
than
we
a
can
treadmill.
play. Oh,
Oh, Luke likes to play.
but I mean, we'd have to if there's enough people.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah, I'll
to
play a little bit.
Get your knee ready.
Get your knee ready.
I'll bring some extra compression.
bring the
pants.
brace.
Bring that sleeve.
If Justin comes back injured,
I do not take responsibility.
We're
Over
gonna have
under.
some
Yeah,
words.
over under. Let's put it at 60%.
Yeah. I mean, you probably will get hurt.
Yeah, what's the money line?
Justin's fragile.
Yeah, Justin's gonna come
Dude,
back
my-
with crutches.
I lived
I got a pair if
for
you need them.
almost 19 years nonstop and never had any serious injury problems, and then tore the knee up, and
Them 30s, baby. Them 30s.
starting at 19,
19.
that's when I tore my ACL.
Oh, yeah. You've had problems. You're reckless.
Ever since I tore the ACL meniscus, it's just I like just picked up. But I think my theory is because you just do a lot of overcompensation going through rehab like that, and then your body just kind of gets out of whack.
Yeah.
My theory.
Are we over the time limit?
Yeah, technically. But just so everyone knows, we're not going to be doing a podcast for the next probably few weeks because I'm going to be out of the country.
Or
But
maybe we'll record.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it without
if you
it.
do, yeah, sure. I'll give you the login and you can upload everything.
Or can you just tell us how to press record and then you can upload and everything?
On your trip.
We'll just
no problem.
We'll FaceTime you, don't worry. What time is it over there?
Yeah, so may or may not have another one for the next few weeks. But if you like what you hear, subscribe and like.
Like, subscribe.
Subscribe and like.
What the one?
Yeah, what that one. Do that one. But as a disclaimer too, anything we talk about here is highly theoretical and like thought puke. We don't know anything. We
We're
don't
not
claim to know
educated.
anything. Yeah, we're all we're idiots.
We're our words.
We're idiots. Yeah. We are.
Perfect. That was perfect.
Anyway, all right. Love you guys. We will see you probably after Thanksgiving. If we do happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you later.
Oh, we should do a Thanksgiving one where we have like, I guess that'd be too much noise, like the cutlery and whatnot, and the plates.